we can jump right into it and talk about somebody who's going to become pretty wealthy in a few hours. And that is Caleb Williams, quarterback of USC. Jimmy, do you think that Caleb Williams is the best player in the NFL draft?
I think Caleb Williams definitely has a say in if he's the best player or not. I think if he's drafted first, um, there's no debate. He's clearly the best player, but until then, we can debate it. And there are some other players that, particularly Jaden out of LSU, Jaden Daniels, I think he also has a claim to be the first pick in the draft as well. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best player because I think it's all about fit. I think it's more about needs and what teams want early in the draft.
Yeah, I think you're right about that because I think that especially at that number one pick, you got to remember these guys are managing their businesses and they're managing fan expectations. So they might think the best player is Joel Alt, right? Offensive tackle at Notre Dame. There is
Hmm.
0% chance they're picking that guy tonight, number one
Hmm.
overall. They'll move back, they'll move around, they'll do something different and find somebody else that's willing to take a Caleb Williams or a Jaden Daniels overall, number one. Here's my thing, though, Jimmy. I don't think Caleb Williams is the best player in the draft, and I'll tell you why. He won the Heisman 2 years ago, not this year, but 2 years ago. And then this season, it wasn't that great. USC started 6-0 and then finished the season 1-5. 1-5. He finished his senior year Heisman Trophy winner, wants to be the number one pick in the draft, finished 1-5.
Come
I
on,
mean,
B. You gotta understand too, which I know you do. It's a team sport, and a lot of times coaches have time to scheme and plan to catch up to you. And I think that was part of it. And also, you got to look at the style of offense. In Oklahoma, they average 50 points a game, close to 50 points a game or over 50 points a game. And USC, wasn't that offensively of a juggernaut. So his production is going to fall off a little bit. And that's where the same type of expectations could fall off transitioning from the NCAA football world into the NFL. It's all about fit.
Jimmy, he threw his Heisman year for 4,500 yards and 42 touchdowns. This year, he threw for 3,300 yards and 30 touchdowns. That's like a 30% drop off. Look, dude, it, the NFL is the best players in the world. And he was struggling with, UCLA and Stanford and I don't know, University of California and probably Joe Mama University in the middle of Iowa that they play as a patty cake game
Well, see,
in
to
the
your
fall.
point though, B, but to your point though, like at that level, you may have other players that you can scheme off of to give help or special attention to him in the quarterback position. And therefore, it makes it harder for him to perform. And you got other guys who aren't carrying their brick or their bag. So it's not all on him. And if his production fell out 30%, how much of that is on him? Is it 15%? Is it 10%? Because a lot of that I'm sure can be spread around the team.
Yeah, that's right. But he's the quarterback of the team. He's the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and he's wants to be the number one pick in the draft, right? So Jimmy says Caleb Williams
Caleb
is the
definitely
best
has a
player in the
chance.
draft. Brent says he is not. We will have to wait a few years, Jimmy. Hopefully, we're like on ESPN at that point and we can debate who was right. We can show these old clips of me telling you that I was right and you were wrong. I like that. I'm
Well,
always
pretty
good
much
for.
you'll see that probably Caleb and Jaden, barring injury, God bless, is that they're more even. And if they have opportunities through their schemes in which they play, will elevate one over the other.